Hello everyone, this is Artemis_anime, and today I am reading Glued Cuteness by Skylar Sky High and TaroX_X. Summary. Shota was on his way to his second job teaching at UA when he heard a pitiful meow. He frowned. He was cutting it quite close this time. He'd slept in on accident and meow. 0 times late to clap. Meow. Fuck it. Alternatively, the story of how Aizawa Shota adopted an adorable kitten that then threw everything into chaos. Chapter 1. Summary. Shota finds a little kitten in a dangerous situation. Of course he can't help but save them. Beginning of chapter notes. This fanfiction was written as a roleplay collab between TaroX_X and Skylar Sky High. Edit was done by X. We hope you'll enjoy. Shota was on his way to his second job, teaching at UA, when he heard a pitiful meow. He frowned. He was cutting it quite close this time. He'd slept in on accident and meow. 0 times late to clap. Meow. Fuck it. He strayed off his usual path and headed towards the meowing, now almost running. The meows led him to a street where the cars were passing by. He squinted his eyes and saw a little figure on the street, just a few inches from the cars zooming by. Meow! It mewed pitifully. It was scared, and it didn't move despite the cars almost grazing it. What the fuck? Why would a kitten stay there? Something was wrong. He could sense it. There were people staring at the kitten, but no one was helping. It made his blood boil. He walked onto the road. It had 2 lanes. They could evade. The kitten continued to meow pathetically, crying out loudly over the roar of the engines. Up close, he could see it trembling terribly. The kitten looked so scared. "Hey," he murmured gently. "I'll get you out of here, I promise," he soothed as he knelt next to the kitten. He barked at one of the people standing around that they should block the lane. The kitten stared at him as it mewed loudly, trembling hard as it stood there. Shota gently put his hand close to the kitten and let him sniff. The kitten stared at him and leaned forward, but it was just out of reach. Come to think of it, its feet were staying frozen on the ground, unmoving, not even a twitch. Shota frowned worriedly. He gently put his hand onto the kitten's paw and tried to lift it. It didn't budge. The kitten stared up at him and meowed loudly. Alright, what the fuck? Shota got out his knife. The kitten mewed loudly at him. Shota gently slid the knife under the sensitive paws. He had to get the kitten away from the street as soon as possible. He slowly tried to remove whatever was sticking the paws to the asphalt. After a few attempts, he managed to get the paw free. Shh, he hushed gently as he moved on to the next paw. The kitten meowed at him. Shota did his best to free the kitten quickly while also being careful. He was holding up traffic and drivers were confused and angered. They had to get out of here soon before anything bad happened. Shota grinned as he managed to get the last paw off the road. He picked the kitten up and held them close as he stepped onto the sidewalk. The kitten was trembling like a leaf in his arms. It was so scared as it meowed at him. Shota hushed the kitten gently as he put away his knife. Who the fuck cared if he was late once? The kitten was purring loudly in his arms. It didn't take much to know that it was terrified. It couldn't seem to extend its paws. Shota gently pet the kitten, trying to calm it down. It meowed loudly up at him. "Shh, it's alright," Shota whispered. "Meow." Shota gently rubbed the kitten's head. He needed to take this kitten to the vet. Should he take the day off? Yep. Nezu would understand. He'd be livid when he heard about what had happened to this kitten. So he changed direction and headed to the vet. He needed to get the glue off the kitten's paws. He needed to know what glue it was to get the solvent. Hopefully the vet could help. Shota watched the kitten worriedly as the vet finished getting the glue off. There was a sick smell akin to nail polish as the vet removed the hard glue from between the toes. The kitten mewed from time to time. Shota gently held the kitten's tail. And done. The vet finished the final paw. Shota breathed a sigh of relief and gently pet the kitten's head. The kitten meowed at him. It's a good thing you saved him, the vet said. He has bad burns on his paws from the heat of the road. He wouldn't been splattered by paws. He would have died from overheating. Shota frowned. Poor thing, he murmured gently, holding the kitten close. The kitten purred loudly and meowed. It's very thin and dirty, the vet said. So this isn't a pet. It must have been a stray some vindicate people had found and decided to torture. Shota gave a nod. Well, now it's mine. Of course, it needs to be cleaned. Do you want to vaccinate it? Of course, Shota agreed. Can you chip them as well? Of course. Do you want to clean it up as well? Yeah, Shota agreed. It'll take an hour to finish. Is that all right? The vet asked. Of course, Shota agreed. Then you can wait outside. The vet smiled at him. Shota gave a nod. He placed the kitten down and went to the door. The kitten meowed loudly after him. Sorry, little one, Shota apologized. The kitten let out a long, pleading meow. Shota sighed. Can I stay in the room to keep them calm? He requested. Of course, there shouldn't be an askew. The vet smiled at him. Shota nodded. He walked back into the room to the kitten, who pawed the air to reach him. He gently ran a hand over their small head. The kitten's inconsistent meowing lessened as he leaned up towards his touch. It's okay, little one, Shota murmured. We'll have to move to the sink to clean it up, the vet announced. Shota nodded. He gently picked up the kitten and carried them over to the sink. The kitten meowed. You'll be okay, Shota murmured. He placed the kitten down in the sink. He gently comforted the kitten while the doctor worked. The kitten meowed at him as he was just being cleaned. It's okay, little one, Shota gently assured. Just some warm water. The vet carefully cleaned the grime off the kitten's fur, the grimy water draining away. Without the mass of fur, it was clear how malnourished this kitten is. Ribs visible under the skin and fur, he was so thin. After a thorough lather of soap and another rinse, the kitten's fur colors were shown. Dark green, the vet hummed as they took the kitten out of the sink and onto the dry table to blow dry. Shota nodded. He was worried. He'd have to slowly get the kitten used to eating more lest they overeat themselves and throw everything up again. He'd helped many strays and it had happened often enough. Drying the kitten took a few minutes. For the most part, while startled by loud noises from the hairdryer, the kitten was well behaved. Once they were done, the kitten was a literal green fluff ball. The kitten seemed to be more fluff than anything. Shota smiled softly. So adorable. He gently rubbed the kitten's head as he carried them over to the table. The doctor still had to complete the checkup, and they should be healthy. Start with the vaccines. It took a few minutes, but the kitten was really cooperative, even though it cried when the vaccine was given to it. Shota gently held the kitten's tail and pet it comfortingly. All done, the vet said, and they walked away to grab a pamphlet and fill in the information inside. Come back in a week or two to follow up and make sure the kitten's still healthy. Here's its info. The pamphlet was handed to him. What will you name him? Shota took the pamphlet as he picked the kitten up and held them close. He mumbled, trying to think of a good name. Izuku. The kitten meowed at him and tried to paw him, paws waving in the air. Are you okay with that name? Shota asked the kitten. The kitten meowed at him and purrs, nuzzling into his chest. Shota smiled and gently pet the kitten. Thank you. I'll pay at the counter, he told the vet and laughed. Izuku meowed up at him as he stared at Shota. Shota gently rubbed Izuku's head. We'll go home soon, he assured. Izuku meowed. You're adorable, Shota said softly. He walked to the counter and paid. The kitten pawed at his chest. Shota gently hushed the kitten and walked home. Author's notes. We hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a kudos or even a comment to show us that. I hope you have a nice day, smiley face. And again, this was Glued Cuteness by Skylar Sky High and TarotX_X. Please go check them out. Their works are so good. Thank you all for listening, and I will see you next week. Bye!